Here's a question for you. Say you are an animator who wants to move this ball, doesn't matter if it's 2D, 3D, or live action, what would you do? I'm sure most of you will say redraw it a few more times with even spacing, just like it, or move it if you're a stop motion animator. Great, but how do we make this more interesting? Well, what if we change the distance between some of the position of the frames in this action? This could work, but now it looks choppy. Perhaps if we change only the frames around the initial and final position, maybe this could make it less choppy and easier on the eyes. Now the object appears to be accelerating and decelerating as it comes to a complete stop. Or conversely, making this spot where it decelerates as a highlight as to draw the viewer's attention to it. And by doing this, we manage to turn this simple linear movement more interesting by introducing a sense of speed without changing the timing of the action. And this is the principle of slow in and slow out as described by Ollie Johnston and Frank Thomas in The Illusion of Life. This principle refers to how object accelerates and slows down as it moves. Although slow in and slow out, which sometimes also referred to as ease in and ease out, are often used interchangeably, it's important to note that slow in and slow out are often used by 2D or traditional animator, while ease in and ease out are commonly used by 3D and motion graphics animators when describing the gradual increase and reduction in speed of an object or entity in animation. Slow out, as commonly used by 2D animators, describe objects or characters starts their movement out more slowly into transition, which then picks up speed. As object comes to a gradual reduction in speed and coming to an end of the transition and into the next pose, this is referred to as slow in. Whereas ease in is more commonly used by 3D and motion graphics animator to describe object, entity, or characters accelerating from its initial pose into the transition to the next pose. When the object, entity, or character exits the transition and begins to decelerate to the next or final pose, this is referred to as ease out. This principle also helps with choppy animation by allowing the viewer to see the object or subject initiate into a gradual motion or slowly settle into its next pose or final position, breaking the stutter and irregular motion, creating a sense of fluidity. You can also use this principle to generate intensity and force in your scenes. Let's use this throwing action as an example. First, we can use the principle of anticipation to establish a preparation for the action while extending distance. And with the principle of slow in and slow out, we can apply a slow out to the object that is thrown, creating an acceleration which gives the object force. Now, how can you use and practice this principle in your own stop motion animation? Just like the question at the beginning, the simplest way is to decide on two pose or start and end point, and in the transition of the 2 points, decide where you want an in-between, and then make another in-between of those, and then make another in-between from the previous and closest one of the pose or point. Repeating this until you're satisfied with the amount of slow in and slow out or ease in and ease out. But as someone who will be replicating motion in your own craft, the best way to understand this is to get into the habit of observing everything and learn the mechanics of motion. It could be as simple as how does a ball roll, or if it's a cube, or what happens if you tap the object and why does it move the way it does. So observe anything and everything through your own lens as an animator. And when you do, one way to apply your understanding of mechanics of motion into stop motion is to use something physical that you can mark the initial and following pose, whether that be a cutout tape or something similar. This of course takes practice, so the more you observe and put in the work, the better you are at understanding motion and how it works, which over time becomes intuition for you as an animator. Be mindful where you use this principle. For example, you probably wouldn't use a slow out on a bullet that exits a gun when shooting, or if a ball is ricocheting. And that's all. I hope this video finds you useful or at least entertaining to watch. And if it is, remember to drop a like and get subscribed and ring the notification for when the next video drops. Take care and I'll see you next time.